Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching this video and welcome to Project Management Tips and Tricks. The objective of this video is to go through all the phases in the project lifecycle. We will start with the project initiation phase. This phase is also called project definition, and the objective of this phase is to define the project at a very high level. Some of the key activities to be done in this phase are the business case creation. We will be working in the business case to assess the project feasibility. We will start also creating the project charter. As we still don't have enough detail to provide on this file, we will be setting up the basis for all project, and we will be adding more detail afterwards. After the project initiation phase, we go with the project planning. During this phase, we will develop the roadmap to be followed during our project. Some key activities to be done during the planning phase are the project charter creation. We will be adding a deeper detail in the project charter. We will be adding detail about the stakeholders, adding detail about the scope, goals of the project. We will be also working in the project plan or project timeline, where we will be defining the key milestones, and we will also do the risk assessment. The risk assessment is key in this stage, and we will have to identify all the project risks with the mitigation action for each of them, and we will also have to categorize them by probability impact. Last but not least, in this phase is the budget breakdown, all about the financials. We will have to prepare the breakdown by adding the hardware, software, professional services, timesheet that will be required for the internal resources, all the costs that will be required for executing all project will have to be added to the budget breakdown. Once we have completed the planning phase, we finally go to execution. Execution phase is usually started with the project kickoff. And the objective of this phase is to deliver what we committed, deliver the scope of the project. We will have to keep working in the resource management. During this stage, we have to assess the resource workload, and we may have to change priorities to be sure that the tasks will be delivered properly. Stakeholder management is also a key point during this phase, as we need to keep all the stakeholders engaged in our project. This is achieved by having really good communication with all of them, which is responsibility of the project manager. Finally, project reporting is also a really key activity during the project execution. We may be scheduling a steering committee meeting in a monthly basis, or we may be also scheduling an executive bi-weekly meeting with our project sponsor. And we will have also to set up the follow-up meetings with our project team, or maybe with the vendor project manager in a weekly basis. All this meeting structure will have to be defined in the project governance model. After the execution, we go with the control. The third and fourth phases, execution and control, are not sequential, but are done in parallel. The objective of this phase is to ensure that project objectives, deliverables, and milestones are met. During this phase, we will have to have control and keep monitoring the project health by using KPIs. Some of the KPIs I usually use for my projects are scope, schedule, budget, and overall. I usually follow the RAC approach. by using the red, amber, and green colors. And the way I manage is that the overall indicator will take the worst case from the others. Project tracking is also key during the control phase. We need to work with tools to keep track of the different streams of our project. We will have to keep track of the project activities. We will have to keep track of the project risks, decisions, and issues. For the track of the project, I usually work with the right log. This tool is really useful for me and is working really good. After the control, we go with the closure. This is the final phase of the project lifecycle, and this phase marks the end of the project after the delivery of the committed scope. Some activities to be done during this phase are the lessons learned creation. It's responsibility of the project manager to evaluate what went well during the project and also to identify the project failures and how these failures were solved. Asset management needs also to be taken into consideration if was not done before. We need to register in the systems what we delivered. Finally, the budget closure will be also required to be done during this phase because we don't expect to require more cost to be covered, so we can proceed with the budget closure of our project. Documentation storage is also a key activity to be done during this phase. Once all project documentation has been created, we need to double check this documentation is uploaded to the shared repository, and if not, upload it. And of course, finally, celebrate. We need to celebrate the project closure, and this is also a really, really important activity to be taken into consideration at this stage. We did a good work to close our project, so we need to celebrate with the team. So that's all. We went through all the phases of the project lifecycle. If you have any question, just feel free to reach me on the social media or leave a comment on this post. And thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye.